What if everything you perceive around you isn't real in the way you imagine? What if instead, reality is just a projection, an illusion crafted entirely by your own consciousness? Take a moment to consider that the world we inhabit might be like an intricate hologram, not something solid and permanent, but rather a constant flow of energy, interconnected with our being in ways invisible to our eyes, yet profoundly felt by our inner awareness. This fascinating concept, far from being merely philosophical speculation, is increasingly gaining serious attention within contemporary scientific research. Reality as we understand it might actually be a dynamic energetic projection, continuously formed and reformed by the frequencies emanating from our minds. Every single thought and emotion acts as a vibrational pattern extending throughout the cosmos, actively creating and transforming the very landscape of our perception. But what evidence supports such an extraordinary proposition? The complex relationship between mind and universe remains both vast and largely mysterious. Perhaps the most compelling evidence that this theory transcends mere abstraction comes from a rather unexpected source: a highly classified study conducted by the Central Intelligence Agency of the United States. The Gateway Process, a formerly secret project now available through declassification, delves precisely into this profound relationship between human consciousness and dimensions beyond ordinary perception. The brilliant researchers weren't simply investigating altered states of consciousness. They were methodically exploring how the human mind can both access and actively shape the reality surrounding it. This remarkable investigation, though it might initially sound like something from science fiction, creates direct connections between ancient wisdom traditions preserved for millennia and the most cutting-edge discoveries in quantum physics. The universal hologram theory, for instance, already exists within quantum frameworks, where scientists increasingly view the universe as an immense interconnected field of vibrational energy. Within this revolutionary understanding, the human mind functions not merely as a passive receiver, but as an active creator interacting with this universal hologram, continuously shaping our experienced reality. Today, my friends, we'll embark together on an extraordinary journey to understand how the human mind and universe potentially operate as interconnected holographic systems, and how this groundbreaking CIA research provides profound insights into this remarkable connection. We'll uncover the hidden secrets linking consciousness to the cosmos, revealing how we might consciously transform our perception of the world around us. For generations, mainstream science has viewed the human mind as merely a passive observer of reality. But this declassified CIA document, the Gateway Process, fundamentally challenges this limited perspective by demonstrating that our consciousness possesses the extraordinary ability to access deeper reality layers, engaging with the universe in ways conventional science has hardly begun to comprehend. Conducted under conditions of strict secrecy, this pioneering research not only examines the fundamental nature of consciousness itself, but proposes something truly revolutionary: that the mind doesn't simply observe the world but actively creates it, fundamentally altering our very perception of what constitutes reality. Throughout their Gateway Process investigations, CIA researchers employed highly specialized methodologies to study altered states of consciousness. Their objective extended far beyond understanding basic brain function to discovering how human consciousness interacts with subtler dimensions of reality. Through powerful techniques including deep meditation, hemisphere synchronization, and various consciousness expansion practices, study participants accessed elevated states of awareness, enabling them to perceive and interact with layers of reality completely beyond ordinary sensory capacity. These sophisticated practices, far exceeding simple spiritual experiments, were recognized as powerful methods for transforming the human experience of the universe. The CIA research goes beyond merely exploring altered consciousness. It boldly suggests that the human mind can literally reshape reality itself. This means not just perceiving different dimensions, but actively influencing what we experience in our everyday lives. By accessing these deeper reality layers, the mind can both decode invisible energy patterns and, through conscious intention, transform how we interact with our surroundings. In this expanded state of awareness, the mind transitions from passive observer to active creator, capable of directly influencing perceived reality. Through this remarkable process, human consciousness can access what CIA researchers described as reality layers, states of consciousness where the boundaries between self and universe begin dissolving, allowing consciousness itself to reshape perception. Among the powerful techniques examined in the gateway process, hemisphere synchronization proved particularly effective. This fascinating approach utilized specific sound frequencies to harmonize and balance both hemispheres of the brain. When properly synchronized, these hemispheres facilitate an expanded state of consciousness, where reality perception becomes more fluid and responsive to conscious intention. Deep meditation served as another essential technique in this groundbreaking research, allowing participants to access higher states of consciousness, where mind and universe connect directly. These apparently simple practices were carefully designed to alter brain frequencies, enabling more direct communication with the energetic reality surrounding us. These CIA studies provide crucial validation for the universal hologram theory. If the universe operates holographically, as an energetic, dynamic, interconnected projection, then human consciousness can meaningfully interact with this hologram. By expanding our minds through these specialized techniques, we can both perceive and modify the projections the universe presents to us. Reality thus becomes not a fixed constant, but something beautifully malleable, transformable through the power of consciousness itself. This illuminates how this declassified document not only reflects ancient wisdom regarding mind-universe interconnection, but provides scientific foundation for understanding this connection's mechanisms. The practice of expanding consciousness and attuning our minds to universal frequencies reveals a reality far richer and more multidimensional than previously imagined. As science and spirituality continue their fascinating convergence, we recognize ourselves as more than mere observers of reality. We are its active co-creators, shaping our world with every thought and intention we hold. Traditionally, human perception has been considered a passive process. Our senses gather information from the external world, and our brain simply processes this data to create an image of our surroundings. However, this simplistic understanding faces significant challenges from recent neurological research. Every thought and emotion actually manifests as energy, a vibrational pattern extending throughout the universe, interacting with surrounding energy waves in ways we're only beginning to comprehend. The revolutionary concept that reality exists as a holographic projection provides crucial insight into how our minds operate within this dynamic process. The universal hologram, as previously described, forms a dynamic reality comprised of energetic patterns, with the human mind not merely observing these energies but actively projecting them, continuously shaping what we perceive as reality. To comprehend this more fully, we must explore the hologram concept and its application to human consciousness. A hologram essentially creates a three-dimensional projection containing all information about an object or image, even when divided into fragments. If reality functions holographically, this suggests everything we perceive, from physical objects to emotions and thoughts, exists as energetic projections of patterns interacting in extraordinarily complex ways. Within this model, each person functions simultaneously as both receiver and projector of these patterns. The human mind isn't merely a passive screen displaying reality's images, but a sophisticated instrument, an antenna continuously tuning and projecting energy patterns to create our world perception. This perception isn't simply copying external reality, but actively projecting interpretations shaped by our mental frequencies. Mental frequency, determined by our thoughts, emotions, and consciousness states, interacts directly with surrounding energy fields, adjusting how we perceive reality. This relationship between mental frequency and perception proves absolutely fundamental. When our minds align with higher frequencies through meditation or positive thinking, our perception expands, allowing access to subtler reality layers. Conversely, when our frequencies become misaligned through stress, fear, or persistent doubt, our perception narrows, making our world seem more limited and challenging than it truly is. This goes beyond subjective interpretation. It reflects how our minds actively project reality, creating what we experience as real in our daily lives. The scientific basis for this revolutionary understanding finds support in breakthrough quantum physics and neuroscience research, demonstrating how our minds constantly interact with the quantum field permeating the universe. Every thought generates an energy wave propagating through this quantum field, influencing both perception and experienced reality. This leads to the powerful realization that the mind functions as a creative force, shaping, transforming, and redefining reality continuously through our moment-to-moment awareness. This process becomes clearer through a simple, yet illuminating example. Imagine examining a sheet of ordinary paper. What you see isn't the paper in its objective form, but rather your mind's interpretation of it. Light reflecting from the paper enters your eyes, but your brain creates the image you perceive. In essence, your perception of the paper is your mind's projection, not the paper's absolute reality. Similarly, your mind constantly projects interpretations about everything in your experience, relationships, challenges, opportunities, and every aspect of your life. Even the most basic observation involves your mind projecting a version of reality filtered through your mental patterns, past experiences, and current emotional states. Just as hologram manipulation occurs through frequency adjustment, our reality can be consciously reshaped by aligning with different mental frequencies. As we recognize our role as projectors of reality, we begin understanding our profound influence on our surrounding world. This understanding brings genuine freedom, the freedom to create our desired reality by consciously adjusting the frequencies through which we interact with the universal field. As discussed, the human mind, with its remarkable complexity, can transcend ordinary perception limits, connecting with different reality layers beyond normal awareness. Accessing these expanded reality layers requires more than simply attempting to perceive beyond our senses. We must deliberately adjust our mental frequency, similar to tuning a radio to different stations for different broadcasts. Reality, functioning holographically, responds directly to consciousness, and by transforming consciousness through specific practices, we access deeper, broader, and often more mysterious perception dimensions. The Gateway Process. This fascinating declassified CIA document offers valuable insights into consciousness expansion through controlled, practical methods. This research demonstrated that the human mind can enter altered perception states through specific practices, accessing realities beyond ordinary sensory capacity. These practices not only expand perception, but transform our relationship with time, space, and reality's fundamental nature. Among the powerful techniques described in this groundbreaking study are deep meditation, hemisphere synchronization, and creative visualization. Deep meditation allows practitioners to disconnect from external distractions and focus inward, creating profound calm and openness, facilitating higher consciousness access. In this peaceful state, the mind perceives reality layers normally beyond ordinary sensory awareness. Hemisphere synchronization represents a more advanced technique, balancing the brain's two hemispheres, which naturally operate somewhat independently. Using specific sounds and frequencies like binaural beats, synchronization harmonizes both hemispheres, creating a mental state where boundaries between ordinary perception and subtle realities begin dissolving. This mental coherence facilitates connection with higher consciousness dimensions, providing access to information unavailable to logical analysis alone. Creative visualization constitutes another powerful technique, examined in this CIA research. This practice guides the mind to create vivid mental images of intentions, desires, or experiences, allowing the mind to attract and interact with corresponding energies and realities. Visualization isn't merely passive mental exercise, but active creation. By vividly imagining something with emotion and belief, the mind aligns its frequency with energies needed to manifest these visions, profoundly transforming perception and reality interaction. Understanding these techniques requires grasping altered consciousness states. When entering deep meditation or high concentration, the mind detaches from ordinary sensory perception limitations. The brain shifts to different frequencies depending on the technique, allowing access to expanded reality layers beyond conventional awareness. These expanded states permit perception beyond normal vision, seeing the typically unseen and perceiving beyond conventional human awareness. This consciousness expansion not only transforms perception, but opens new possibilities for universe interaction. Mental frequency represents a crucial concept for understanding how consciousness expansion accesses different realities. Mind frequency, adjustable through meditation, visualization, and hemisphere synchronization, determines our experienced reality quality. When tuned to lower frequencies, the mind connects with denser reality aspects related to matter and conventional space-time perception. However, when mental frequency elevates through consistent practice, the mind perceives subtler realities transcending time and space, accessing information and experiences unavailable in ordinary consciousness. Consciousness expansion practices offer far more than alternative reality perspectives. They reveal reality's underlying structure, the energy patterns forming it, connecting us with existence dimensions beyond physical sense perception. With training and consistent practice, the human mind can access these expanded realities and interact with them, transforming life perception and universe connection in profound ways. When practicing focused intention, visualizing specific goals, or deeply believing in desired outcomes, we adjust our mental frequency to attract that reality into our experience. The mind, aligned with this frequency, begins perceiving opportunities, creating internal changes, and generating behaviors leading toward manifestation. This demonstrates how we consciously influence reality perception, transforming it from passive reaction to external stimuli into active creation through internal frequency control. Human consciousness, understanding and applying this remarkable capacity, creates worlds aligned with its deepest intentions and highest aspirations. True understanding of universe and mind reveals their profound interconnection, functioning as a single energy perception network. Reality isn't fixed or immutable, but a dynamic projection we influence through conscious awareness. By recognizing our ability to transform reality perception, we embrace conscious living, profoundly transforming our life experience and universe connection. Thank you for joining me on this transformative exploration of consciousness and reality. If these ideas resonated within you, please like and subscribe to this channel for more mind-expanding content. Share this video so others might benefit from these empowering perspectives. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Share your thoughts, reflections, and personal experiences with these concepts. Thank you again for your presence and attention on this journey. Take care, dear friends, and I look forward to our next adventure together in consciousness.